Claressa Shields announces that she has signed a female fighter. More on that in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, they're just getting weird at this point for Claressa Shields. Now, I noticed this passive-aggressive behavior from Claressa is heating up. So she posted this and put the song T.I., Let 'Em Know, and said, a new era for women's boxing starts now. Claressa Shields Promotions proud to announce the signing of undefeated rising star Chanel the Sniper, Chanel Butler, a fighter built for greatness, legacy, and change. Together, we're fighting for more than titles. We're fighting for opportunity, visibility, and true equality for women in combat sports. The future is female. Right? And Claressa Shields Promotions, hashtag win records, yada, yada, yada. Right? Women's boxing. And they have a picture of the girl. And it says, signed, welcome to the team, Win Salida. Right? Here's the problem. Claressa Shields has been acting a whole fool. Now you are trying to revert to this and get back to business. First of all, you can immediately tell if it's ChatGPT, a PR person, or somebody else who wrote the caption, because it's a whole different attitude, a different tone. When Claressa is writing the caption, it's a lot more aggressive, a lot more negative, it's a lot more contrite. And I noticed it's almost like multiple personalities or something, this game that Claressa is playing, right? You just hauled off and hit a female fighter, Alycia Baumgardner, because you did not like the words that she was saying. And if I'm being honest, she really, I don't know if there was extra, but what you said on that video, she didn't say nothing wrong. You are currently in an entanglement with a married man, a person who is technically married, and most women who respect themselves, they would have seen a public breakup with Remy and Papoose and declared, hey, I like this guy, even though it's already weird because you were friends with Remy Ma, right? But if you still had to pursue it, most people would allow for that to clear up before they ever went public or before it ever came out, or really before they started messing with the person. Get a clean break, start on a clean slate, and move forward with your relationship. So really, Baumgardner was accosted and she didn't really say anything. And because you could not take her words, you've been in defense mode ever since, because the world has lashed out. Now they got petitions, got over 3,000 signatures as of this recording. And then now you're trying to play the role of a promoter. No, listen, shout out to this girl. I am not supporting any fighter. I told y'all to get from around this girl. Anybody who is affiliated with Claressa Shields, I am not supporting with my hard-earned dollar. I work hard for mine, right? This is no knock on the fighter herself. I've never watched her fight, but I'm not going to watch her fight because you signed with Claressa Shields Promotions. And right now, you can't have this type of duality that you're trying to do, where you can put your hands on a female and then in the next breath, take no accountability for it and do this live rant, which we'll go over in a second. And then after that, continue to be nasty and be under my page with burner accounts, leaving nasty comments, defaming me while screaming defamation. And then when none of that is working, now you try to revert back to promoter mode and put your promoter hat on. I'm not supporting any fighter that signs with Claressa Shields. You guys could do whatever you want, but it ain't going to be me. So this girl, you picked the wrong home team. Win Records, you picked the wrong person to endorse you. See, I speak with my dollar, and I told Claressa this is not a game that she wants to play, at least with me, right? But hey, she wanted to spin the wheel. There you have it. And imagine this. I'm one person, cool. But I have over 350,000 fans covering boxing daily for a decade and a half plus, right? I film, I edit. I know how to set up the audio, as you can hear. I got the golden voice, right? So I wear a lot of hats. If Claressa was smart and approached it, she would have seen that as, hey, I'm trying to transition from being a fighter to eventually being a promoter. But because of her ego, no pun intended, her pride and whatever uneducated behavior that she's been exhibiting, you've ruined that, right? Anybody now attached from Papoose on down to people signing with you, everybody is like not supporting for the most part because you're attached to it. You know, when there's like a CEO or SVP of a company and it comes out that they said the N-word or something and it leaks, that person is forced to resign and step down because the stock starts to drop. People are like, no, if this person maintains their position after this tape just leaked, then we're not supporting Tesla or whoever, right? And it gets a lot of heat on the company. Win Records is doing nothing about this. Claressa Shields is running around lawless like Tom Hardy and blaming everybody, still really hasn't apologized, acting two-faced, talking about, I don't want to be at MVP events. How you going to ban me from somewhere I didn't want to be? Why'd you go to their event? Why were you texting Nikisa, oh, this was fun? Why were you and Papoose tagging Netflix? Nothing she's doing makes sense. But peep this.
Exist in the world, MVP does not run boxing. So let's wrap that shit up. I'm not banned from boxing. Actually, I have a huge fight announcement coming soon.
Still hasn't announced her next fight, but you arguing with bloggers and arguing with fans.
So we're going to start with that. Yes, and I am boxing. I'm definitely women's boxing.
You can't even say it. They said you didn't start speaking until you were 9 years old, and it's starting to show. That's how you know you're in the wrong. You can make all the faces you want. I am women's boxer. You talking like the boxer from Harlem Night. Man, shit, yeah. You can't even get a sentence out. You can't even string a sentence together. They need to really check this girl, bro.
Coming soon. So we're going to start with that. Yes, and I am boxing. I'm definitely women's boxing. For sure. Now, I'm not going to get into too much of the situation that happened.
I'm not going to get into it too much, but she proceeds to talk for like over 30 more minutes, but okay.
Since folks want to press charges, whatever the case may be.
And then she tried to mock Baumgardner. Folks want to press charges. Then talked about she not going to the law, she going to the courts, and repeatedly threatened legal action against multiple people in this video. This girl is all over the place, bro.
But I will say this. Both of MVP and Baumgardner's statements were lies. That is defamation of character. For those who saw the video of Baumgardner threatening me, telling me I'll beat your ass right now, biatch, that is a threat. So therefore, you saying everything that happened was completely unprovoked, that's a lie. We all know that MVP statement, they literally came out the gate. When MVP first came out the gate, announcing that they were a promotion, they came out the gate calling Amanda Serrano the real GWOAT. To literally send them paperwork and tell them my brand was strong. My brand was strong.
It might have been strong, but you definitely messing that up now.
Fans were loud and they couldn't come over and take over women's boxing and do nothing.
That's the part I want y'all to hear. She said, MVP been hating on me, but I went to their events. MVP had it out for me, but I was watching their fight live on ESPN after they did the deal. These people try to sign you. How are they hating on you, but they wanted you a part of the team, and they probably would have built the team around you because you're the most accomplished. This girl doesn't get it. But the part I want y'all to pay special attention to is what she just said. She just said that MVP was hating, blah, blah, blah. And then they came over trying to take over women's boxing, and it ain't happening.
Take my whole identity and push the little black girl from Flint to the side and didn't know that my brand was strong. My brand was strong. My fans were loud, and they couldn't come over and take over women's boxing and do nothing.
They couldn't come over to women's boxing and do nothing. They couldn't take over women's boxing. That's a direct quote you heard from Claressa Shields. One more again.
And they couldn't come over and take over women's boxing and do nothing.
I'm exposing the cap. MVP couldn't come over and take over women's boxing. My people, this is MVP boxing. They made this graphic. These are all of the lovely women that MVP has signed, right? This is what this is really about, right? So you see, this looked like a yearbook photo, right? Like class of 2026. Like this looked like a real yearbook photo. This girl really has lost it. She has lost the plot. Talking about they said they were going to take over women's boxing and they ain't doing nothing. This is their stable, right? You guys are seeing it. This is Claressa's stable. So who's doing a better job for women's boxing, right? Let alone you're hitting a female boxer non-contested, right? Where it wasn't a sanctioned bout. It wasn't fight week. It wasn't even a press conference. It was a kickback at a Netflix exclusive after party. And you're up here saying, I am women's boxing. They didn't do nothing. MVP can't do nothing. But yet again, MVP, they're showing what they're doing for women's boxing. They got a whole roster and they keep adding women to that roster, right? You got one fighter or maybe a few fighters at best. I don't know, because you guys don't promote the same way. And this is what you chose. You chose this path. You wanted to be with a record label. And now I think part of the deal for your $8 million was to give you your own promotion. But you've already squandered that because you want to be the face of women's boxing, but you're not acting like an adult, right? How are you going to be the face of boxing? If you're the face of boxing, boxing needs a facelift because you don't conduct yourself in a manner that would help grow. MVP, when you made a mistake and let your emotions get the best of you, it was a simple fix. You could have been like, we've had tension. We used to be friends. I would love to share the ring with her in the future, but I crossed the line. I'm sorry, my bad. Even if you didn't mean it, it would have been better than how you acted. But you started double downing. Come get your lick back. I'm going to sue y'all. Y'all want to sue me? Y'all want to ban me? I'm going to sue y'all. Bro. And you thought that would be the better approach. Then you start taking shots at MVP who tried to sign you. MVP who allowed you in their event. MVP, the co-owner, Nikisa, that you reached out to, said you had a good time. But because of your actions and because you touched Baumgardner and now you're getting all the backlash. They got petitions against you. People are making videos. People are speaking out. You tried it and you tried to explain it and you made yourself look worse. And then now, after all that, this girl keeps throwing ish on the wall, hoping something's going to stick. And after all that, now you want to revert back to promoter mode and put your promoter hat on. Like, look, welcome to the team. I'm not supporting none of your fighters. I don't care who it is. I don't care if LeBron James signed to. I'm not supporting nobody because y'all, if y'all get around this girl when she acting like this with no apology, I'm not using my hard-earned dollar for that. Y'all do whatever y'all want. It is what it is. But you can't act like this and then be a valid promoter. No other Al Heyman don't act like this. You don't have virtually any promoter that is acting like this except for Claressa Shields. So yeah, you want to be women's boxing and you're mad because you're slowly being replaced and other people are getting big looks. big deals, brand deals, probably making a lot of money, and your spotlight is fading. And here's the thing, you're very accomplished. You got something that most of the other girls don't have with the 2 gold medals, but at the same time, you're conducting yourself in a nasty way and making it hard for people for quite some time to really get behind your movement and brand. And to the point where people who were fans of you, they're slowly starting to fall off the bandwagon like, all right, enough is enough. And you did this all by chasing a married man. And then after being nasty is not yielding the results you want to be a promoter talking about, oh, with this chat GPT message, oh, I'm here to uplift women's boxing. If you was really here to uplift women's boxing, you probably wouldn't put your hands on a female boxer. You're talking about the future female. You can't play both of those roles.